Welcome, my friends, to this glorious community showdown featuring the Vampire Coast, who shall be led by Zablaski. Today, guys, he's going to be facing off against the Dark Elves, who shall be led by QSA Sam Morphy, aka Aristodemos. So as far as the build goes, it looks like there's going to be some fat Queen Bess action. So yes, it's going to be Queen Bess, also a couple mortars, and it looks like double gunnery white. So yeah, it's going to be a gunnery white on a crab here, and we have another Krabby Patty here on the far side as well. So the gunnery whites have pretty good dual purpose here, and they're actually something that I think has evolved as a result of the nerfs to Vampire Coast. And yeah, obviously now they can do pretty well. So firstly, they have 180 range. They have pretty good sniping capabilities with 400 plus missile damage. You can see here with the, oh, what is that? Did that just change it? Accuracy and reload skill. Looks like it's factored into the missile damage. But nonetheless, the missile damage here is very, very high. So if they have like flying characters like Malekith or Marathi, or even like Footlords, they're able to snipe them relatively effectively. So these crabs can certainly do some work. On top of that, in the late game, I mean, they're pretty good in melee. They have, almost 4,000 HP, good AP values, good melee defense. With Invocation, they can certainly tank and do a ton of damage. So basically back here, Queen Bess is going to be getting enhanced ballistics. It's going to be getting essentially infinite powder. It'll have 6 charges, I think, in total. So yeah, it's going to have ammo throughout the course of the entire game, unless it goes really, really long. So Queen Bess here, 2 gunnery whites, halberds defending it, double mortars as well. And mortars are a pretty good choice against Vampire Coast, especially against shades and some of the dark shards and things like that. So I really do like the mortar pick quite a bit. Now for the forces of the Vampire Coast front line, it's going to be just chaff, so deckhands mobs across the entire front line, Vampire Fleet Admiral with a pistol, so obviously looking to do some sniping as well, and a couple deck droppers with handguns, I'm thinking, no, just regular ones actually, so yeah, deck droppers, and I mean, they are the cheapest one. These ones are only 450, so arguably they might be a little bit better against Dark Elves than the handgunners, because Dark Elves have a ton of light armor. You have Shades, you have Dark Shards, you have, Dark Riders, and yeah, I feel like they'll be okay. So for the Dark Elf army, quite wide and thick, definitely very scary stuff. Bleak swords across the entire front line. It looks like a combination of Dark Shards and Blackheart Corsairs. I actually really do like Corsairs quite a bit. I feel like against like Morngul rushes and things like that, the Blackheart Corsairs are able to kind of kite back and do some really good work there. So he does have a couple of Blackheart Corsairs. Shades in the secondary line mixed in with Dark Shards as well. Dread Spears in the back, and it looks like Dark Riders. So yeah, a very good army here against Vampire Coast. It's wide. There's not too many value targets. You just go in, you use your bows to take them apart. And Bleak Swords are obviously more than enough to kind of deal with deckhand mobs, especially if you have some foot support. Looks like it's going to be double Canade Assassin as well. And yeah, these guys can be quite scary. Again, we're going to be having some sniping, all kinds of stuff there. And Marathi, of course, does have Soul Stealer, Power of Darkness, Melkoth's, and she does have the Wand of Koraidon. So things are about to get real ham. So you can see here the firing battery is going off. So mortars and Queen Bess, that's such a cool looking sight, just like all the buffs and the firepower, the fireworks raining down. But it looks like Aristodemos has been doing a super good job dodging Queen Bess so far. So here comes a Queen Bessie shot, and does he make contact? No. So Bess not the most accurate despite that. Oh no, that's Bess right there. Oh, Bess getting huge contact with the Dread Spears. Brutal stuff. But considering the battle's been going on for almost a minute here, and there hasn't been too many shots that have made contact with Bess. I mean, that was really the first one that's been super impactful. So let's go up here so we can get a nice view of the bombardment. So there, Bess is able to get some pretty good work against Bleak Swords. And yeah, there's no bolt throwers or anything like that. So Bess is going to be relatively safe here. So here comes another shot from Bessie. It looks like the Dark Shards are narrowly able to escape their doom there. Over on the flanks, the deck droppers are basically just shooting whatever they can, going after Bleak Swords, chipping away, having a good old jolly time. Some orders coming in the front. Bessie in the back. Bess does miss again, but the Borders doing some okay contact. No, they didn't make contact that time, so they're trying their best for sure. But it looks like, obviously Aristodemos, you can see based on the formation of his army, which it isn't really in formation anymore, he's been dodging quite a bit. So here comes another Bess shot. Looks like he is able to pull back, which is really nice. So that would have made like square contact and done so much damage. So now you can see he re-rallies those forces and he continues to move forward. So Marathi's getting pretty close. And honestly, the deck droppers might want to like centralize and just shoot at Marathi. Man, that would be really strong because she's like bare naked here with 15 armor in the front. Things could get quite messy for sure. So in the meantime, Bleak Swords and Dread Spears making their way in. Dark Shards are giving some counter fire here against the deck droppers. Here comes another Best shot. Bessie's going to be coming down, dropping some thunder perhaps. Here it comes. And it looks like it's a swing and a miss as the Dark Shards and other troops are able to dodge that. So in the back line, Bessie is pretty much full ammo, I would imagine. Yeah, you can see here that Queen Bess is doing good on ammo. Enhanced Ballistics is being cycled here, so the mortars plus Bessie are getting the reload skill to fire faster, and plus they're also getting that accuracy buff, which doesn't seem to be helping too much, but nonetheless, you can see here the Dark Elf army is actually taking quite a bit of damage, so they should just kind of force the issue, I think, and engage. All this time, I mean, maybe they're just trying to run them out of ammo? It's hard to say. So the mortars are going to be coming in here, and you can see the Shades counter-firing against deck droppers doing some decent damage, and the firepower continues to kind of pour in here as the forces of the Vampire Coast and their powder line just doing a ton of work. Canade Assassin is going to be pushing in, trying to get some bolt fire here against the Vampire Fleet Admiral, and he actually does a ton of damage. That Fleet Admiral really got shreked there, so it looks like a summon is going to be going down here to kind of a tar pit and force off the Canade Assassins as they do push in, but yeah, now he should be able to kind of sit out of range. So finally, the Dark Elves are going to be collapsing in on this side. The Blackheart Corsairs are going to be pushing in. Shades are going to be pushing in. And the main fighting is going to be underway. Bessie coming in again. And a swing and a miss as Aristodemus is able to dodge that shot one more time. In the back, you can see the Dark Riders are waiting in position, looking to get in there and go for that juicy strike here against the Gunnery White and some of these other troops and try and get on top of Queen Bessie. But Bessie, I think, is pretty well protected. There's definitely ample support back there. So some of the deck droppers have taken some damage. Bounce of Power is in the favor of the Vampire Coast, not by like a ton, but certainly by a little bit, but that's expected with artillery builds. They're going to accrue their value early, and then your opponent typically, will try and catch up in the late game. So Dreadspears have made it into the front line to fight against deckhand mobs. The Bleak Swords are going to be pushing in as well. And how are we doing in terms of archers? Dark Shards are in good shape. I mean, he's been dodging those pretty well. He hasn't taken too much damage on most of the archers. Yeah, Dark Shards here are doing some good work for sure, and they should be able to potentially finish off and crumble down these deck droppers. Mortars are still shooting in, and mortars are really good steady damage against archer builds, and archers are the counter to Vampire Coast, so I really like the fact that Zablasky did bring those bad boys. So here in the back, you can see Dark Riders looking for an in, and maybe they're going to be swooping in here and just kind of giving it their all, but they're going to be going after the Fleet Admiral, which, I mean, it's an okay charge. They're going to be taking much more damage than the value they're going to be accruing. So here come Bleak Swords. They're all going to be surging into the front line now. You can see he's using his ammunition here from the Shades. So opting not to fight with his infantry, rather just kind of use the archers to kind of wear these guys down and get his value there. In the back, there also are some Blackheart Corsairs who need to be routed back forward, as well as some Bleak Swords who've been forgotten in the dust. And yeah, you can see here the Dark Riders definitely didn't get their money's worth. Granted, I mean, maybe they baited out a summon here or something like that, but Marathi's coming for that booty. She's coming back here, and there's not too much handgunner fire here for the Vampire Coast, so Marathi coming back here, could be pretty good. Granted, Zablasky does have this firing core of deck droppers, and Marathi, like I said, is a very good target for missile play. So she's going in after the Vampire Fleet Admiral, who's very low, actually. So she's going to be popping a Soul Stealer coming in hot. Vampire Fleet Admiral has its pistol and its cutlass. Oh, look at that, just doing all this piracy. But anyway, Soul Stealer is very brutal stuff, and Marathi's probably going to be able to kill this guy, actually, especially with the Wand of Koraidon. And I think there's some Canid Assassins trying to get back here. You can see there's one right here trying to push back. All kinds of treachery is afoot. And Marathi's coming in. So Marathi's on the hunt here. A Wand of Koraidon does make contact there. His source code just get deleted from the game? No, he just got flattened. So 71 HP, negative 18. But, I mean, at what cost, right? Marathi's going to be dying here too, for sure. With all these deck droppers nearby, as well as the Gunnery Whites who can turn and shoot at her, she's not going to be getting out of there alive. And Soul Stealer's probably in cooldown. Anyways, in the front line, you can see the deckhand mobs are starting to falter. The Dark Elves pulling forward with all their forces. Blackheart Corsairs are coming in. And, I mean, a lot of the archers are in pretty good shape. And the zombie front line is still holding. I mean, there's still some zombos over here on the flank that can, hold up this advance. But here in the center, it looks like it's going okay, actually. Some of the Dreadspears who got bombed by Queen Bess are able to be forced back. But Marathi, like I said, she did do her job and, did an okay job back there. But now she's going to be getting taken out by the deck droppers. 319 HP. The Bat Pirate people are flying overhead. Gunnery White's on top of his crab with his long rifle. Going to be dropping some bows in there. And Marathi's trying to cast some Witchcraft before she goes. But alas, the Hag Queen is going to be falling to the wrath of the Gunnery Whites. So Queen Bess still going strong too, which is really, really big actually. And you can see here Aristodemus is going to be coming in with another Dark Rider push. So he's going to be trying to just force his way into Queen Bess. He's had enough of this shit. He's tired. Get Queen Bess off his plane. And Queen Bess here still has a lot of ammo because the Gunnery Whites each have 3 charges of extra powder. So they're going to be able to drop some really good firepower there. So here you can see the deck droppers are shooting the Dark Riders in the back, and the Gunnery Whites, like I said, very good dual purpose and melee. They're actually quite strong. So the armor is going to be able to hold up the Dark Riders. The deck droppers in the back are just kind of pounding these guys, and the Canid Assassin has gotten in and is actually doing some okay work. You can see he's working on the Queen Bess crew. Man, those are really cool models for sure. Look at him getting in there and doing some work. The assassin models in Warhammer Fantasy were actually pretty cool as well towards the end. But the Gunnery White here is going to be hit by the Web of Shadows, which does some AoE damage, but for the most part, that Canid Assassin is going to be flipped upside down and put in the trash can. Is Queen Bess still doing its thing? And obviously, the dodging micro is going to be lapsing a little bit here in the late game. Anyone would. And you can see the Dark Shards are actually getting hit by that. So we still have Shades here for the Dark Elves. We have some Dark Shards over here, and we have Dreadspears coming in. I mean, Dreadspears are going to be really tough to take down, actually, especially if they're healthy, and if they can get on top of Queen Bess and the mortars. And also, guys, even though Vampire Coast is ahead on the bounce of power, like, the mortars are getting compromised right now. That's going to be gone. Queen Bess is going to be gone. Not gone, but probably put offline here. Nice dodge by Aristodemus. Beautiful play. Able to kind of dodge that huge Best Blast. But, a lot of the Vampire Coast assets here are going to be dying. So the bounce of power is a little bit, misleading at this point. So here comes another Best Shot. Where's it going to go? Is it going to make contact? Looks like it's going after the Corsairs, or maybe those guys. I'm not sure. It was like somewhere in the middle, kind of anticipating their pathing there. Trying their best, but the Gunnery White should be able to take out the Canid Assassin for sure. These crabs are, they hit pretty hard. 350, good AP values. Assassin's Trophy is going to be going down as a response here, but the Canid Assassin is heavily outmatched. The pounding from the Gunnery Whites plus the powder weaponry on the top is going to be more than enough to finish those guys off. So Canid Assassin getting pushed off here. Dreadspears are now surging in. Dreadspears will do okay, but Gunnery Whites do have 120 armor, so they're no slouches. They can take kind of those low AP spears all day, but You know, Queen Bessie's about to run out of ammo. Both mortars are offline, and over here we have a couple of zombies, but there's a lot of kind of tattered Dark Elf missiles coming back in, which are all quite good against gunnery wights, except the Corsairs. Of course, the Corsairs don't have the best AP values, but the Shades plus the Dark Shards is actually going to be rather scary. So back in the pit here, you can see the zombie deckhand mobs going to be sallying forth to hold back the Dread Spears, but Bessie has kind of been compromised, and I mean, she's going to get her last shot, though. I mean, I guess she's paid all her dues at this point. Who cares, right? Bessie getting her last shot off, which sends a very distinct message here to the Shades, but it looks like the Shades should be able to fall back, and it's not going to be a big deal. So Bessie's out of ammo, but the crew can still fight. Let's look at the crew stats. Yeah, 14 and 9 and 29, so they're basically like deckhand mobs for the most part. And here you can see the enhanced ballistics is going to be going down from the gunnery wights, which unfortunately for the vampire or for the Dark Elves actually have really good ammunition left. So these guys going to be shooting into the back of Dread Spears, and their shots hit pretty hard. 472 missile damage is a lot. So that's going to be able to pound those guys out, and the Dread Spears actually get forced off. So now we have a little bit of jockeying for position as both players doing their thing. We have some halberds left here for Zablasky, but Aristodemos has a pretty big core of Dark Shards. He has 43 here, full ammo, 35 here. He does have 50 here. I mean, he has a ton of ammo that can do a ton of damage against that gunnery wight if they can get position. He also has 43 Shades. So, I mean, that's very, very strong. So anyways, here in the back, you can see the Vampire Coast is going to be kind of a sallying this direction, trying to get in position to maybe get some gunnery wight play from the crabs here. And Aristodemos is going to be reforming ranks, and a lot of Vampire Coast is crumbling. You can see some of the supporting infantry here are crumbling, some halberds here are crumbling, so there's no rush here for the Dark Elves. Might as well kind of draw it out, let those forces kind of crumble out, and then you're going to have far less to deal with. So here, Corsair is going to be going in and shooting at these guys, just making sure they crumble that much faster, because it's still something to deal with, right? 53 zombies is no joke. In the meantime, Zablasky is going to be chasing off the Dread Spears here on the far side, just waddling with these angry crabs. And how fast are they? They have 45 speed, so they can do some kiting for sure. I don't know if they have 360 shooting. I think they have to be moving in the direction. Like, I don't think this zombie can, maybe he could, like, dislocate his back or spine or something and turn and shoot, but I don't think so. So they're going to be saving their ammo, it looks like. Doesn't look like Zablasky is shooting there, which is smart. Just chase off the Dread Spears, do your thing there. And you can see here that the zombie part deckhand mobs are pretty much crumbling for the most part. So those guys are going to be surging forward. Here come the bows, though. Dark Shards. And we do also have some Blackheart Corsairs with hand bows. So certainly quite a bit of missile pressure. So let's do some fast forwarding as we get in position here. Here comes the crabs. The crabs are able to chase off those guys on the edge of the battlefield here. And the Queen Bess crew is still here. I mean, it still is deckhand mobs and 4,000 HP, so that is a bit of a screen. But man, what a close game between these two players here. Absolutely insane stuff. So here comes the bow line. We got the Blackheart Corsairs. The Dark Shards are going to be shooting in. The crabs can do some juking, so let's watch this. So 2.5k HP, and he is able to dodge some shots. That was pretty good. He only took like 100 damage from that. Normally, without dodging, that probably would have taken off like 300 or 400 HP. So if he's able to kind of juke and shoot, like scoot and shoot, it's very much reminiscent of like old StarCraft. So like in StarCraft 2, obviously you can get your Marine, you can shoot, you can fall back shoot, and like in the reload time, you can move and shoot, which I think is pretty optimal for sure. So you can see here he's doing that. You can actually see his movements, which is a pretty cool feature in replays. You can actually see where the players are like moving things when they give command orders like that. So you can see he's like trying to juke right here, just the wild clicks of the gods coming down. And here they come, a lot of ammo left on these guys. And you can see here Queen Bess and company are going to be going to fight the infantry. So there are a ton of Dark Elf infantry up here. Queen Bess plus the Queen Bess crew plus the halberds should be able to kind of fend those guys off. So here come the Gunnery Wights, going to be going in after the Blackheart Corsairs with hand bows, but a lot of damage coming in. That Gunnery Wight eats like 400 or 500 damage here, and oh, that is so punishing. The Dark Elves might be able to come back here. This is insane. Now the Shades, also guys, something else to mention is that the ammunition does count towards the bounce of power, so if they do run out of ammo, that could be pretty big. And also the fact that there's a full health group of deckhand mobs with halberds here is a big issue for the Dark Elves. That thing is just going to be sweeping and pushing in. If these guys are having to run instead of shoot, so if they have to run from the zombies, then the Gunnery Wights can turn and shoot as well. So it looks like the crabs are going to be just getting their pot shots off wherever they can, and the missile units are going to be closing in, trying to get those optimal line of sight fires. So yeah, they're trying to finish off this Gunnery Wight, which is obviously quite important. Here on the ground, you can see the deckhand mobs going to be fighting some of the Dark Spears, or Dread Spears, and might as well call them Dark Spears, close enough, right? Dread Spears and Bleak Swords that are still left. Or is it all Dread Spears? All Dread Spears. And they do a pretty good job. They pretty much shattered those guys off, and Zablasky looks like he's going to be turning and fighting here, but Aristodemos getting some really good firepower, down to 1200 HP, 1100. Yeah, it's getting really, really low, guys. Enhanced ballistics has gone off, but not going to be too helpful here. But yeah, I like this. He's kind of like splitting up his forces so the missiles can't like get an easy just like kill you. He's like putting them in opposite directions, which is quite fancy, and just buying times for the halberds. I mean, the halberds are really going to be an ace here. Like, assuming the crabs were gone, I think Dark Elves could probably win it just through attrition and kiting and stuff, but with the crabs, like at least one of them surviving, that's going to be really hard. So bounce power is still very heavily in the favor of Vampire Coast here. You can see these Blackheart Corsairs they're actually wavering right now, because again, Vampire units do cause fear. Fear is a negative penalty to leadership when they're close enough, so these guys might actually rat off the battlefield if this crab turns around and hunts them. So the halberds are now chasing off the Dark Shards, which is the big issue, because if the Dark Shards, like I said, could sit and shoot, that would be game changing. But now that they can't, you can see the crabs are able to kind of juke. Oh man, look at this scooting and shooting here from Zablasky. Oh, he's just juking. The crab's got the moves like Jagger. Just doing outstanding stuff. Probably going to be turning and going after Dark Shards here, I would imagine. And the other group of Zombie Pirate Deckhand mobs is going to be just hunting them. And yeah, just the nearby presence of fear and the fact like their army's so tattered everywhere else. I mean, Bleak Swords are just running in pretty much every direction. And this crab's still juking as well. He's in negative leadership now, so he's going to start crumbling. Maybe, just maybe, the Dark Elves can do it, but I don't know. Shades are out of ammo. Dark Shards are all being chased. I think that's going to be too little too late. And the crabs, like I said, are going to be able to come in melee. But look at that, guys. One of the crabs is going down. It has 221 HP. The guns are coming in from the crabs. He's getting his last shots off before he crumbles here, taking out the Dark Shards, which is going to free up his buddy, because the other guy will be able to fight much, much better if he's not taking this AP fire from the Dark Shards. And Halber's just doing their things. But the Shades here with the dual application. Shades, of course, very good in melee combat. We're actually cutting through these Zombie Pirate Deckhand mobs rather quickly. And here comes the big resurgence of Dark Elves. So you can see Bleak Swords coming in, Dread Spears. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be army losses. And when the crab comes in melee and defeats the Shades, yeah, it looks like he's just going to be scooting and shooting for now. So he's able to do his thing. But guys, look at the bounce of power. It's creeping back towards the middle, but oh no, now it's going back for the Vampire Coast. What an insane game. Dark Shards actually shatter, which is huge. Although, did they even have any ammo left? It looks like they did have quite a bit of ammo, but Vampire Coast is able to pull out the win there. What a game. It was a very grindy, long game, but it was certainly fun seeing optimized Queen Bess. Double Gunnery White on Queen Bess, buffing that up. Deck Droppers even looked good there, which I feel like I'm in another time, like another year, seeing Deck Droppers like do well in a game, but they did. They peeled the backline stuff, they sniped Marathi, and maybe there's a little bit of a credence there to the cheaper Deck Droppers in matchups against light armor, because the handgunners used to be so much better because of their range, but like these guys were pretty good utility, and they could even chase off routing units, so that's something that Vampire Coast, needs, right? The only thing that like I would probably bring if I were playing Vampire Coast would be a couple Scurvy Dogs, and I would play a different build, obviously, like Luther, but man, he's got it down. Those Gunnery Whites did work with Queen Bessie. Yeah, it was just a really fun game to watch. And as far as the Dark Elf Force, I think his army was great, and I think it had most of the tools it needed to win that. Obviously, my only criticism would be maybe advancing earlier and just getting that engagement with the infantry faster so you can then get into the back line quicker. I feel like maybe the dodging and jockeying for that was a little bit excessive, but I mean, maybe it's not. Maybe I just don't know the matchup that well, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like maybe engaging a little bit quicker would have been solid for sure. But yeah, it was a really fun game. So very well played to the Vampire Coast, played by Zablasky, and the Dark Elves, played by Arista Demos. Everyone playing under aliases these days. Definitely very fun. So hopefully you guys enjoy this matchup, and we will see you guys on the other side. Take care.